As the world pauses today to remember Hiroshima, a city forever marked by one shattering moment in 1945. 80 years on, we turn our attention not only to the cataclysm of atomic warfare, but to an extraordinary symbol of hope that continues to whisper across generations. The story of Sadako Sasaki and her paper cranes. In the early morning of August 6, 1945, Hiroshima was transformed from a bustling city to a landscape of ash and silence in a matter of merely seconds. The world had witnessed for the first time the horror of nuclear devastation, an act that would claim the lives of an estimated 140,000 people by year's end and leave survivors, the Hibakushas as they came to be known, to grapple with life-altering injuries, trauma, and public stigma. It was and remains one of the worst human-made humanitarian crises in history, raising searing questions about the ethics of war, the reach of science, and the fragility of human life. Tonight, off the headline circuit, but at the very heart of our collective conscience, is the story of Sadako Sasaki. She was but a toddler, merely 2 years old when the bomb detonated, less than 2 kilometers from her home. She survived the initial blast, defied the odds, but grew up amid the ruins of a shattered city. For a while, her story could have been that of any child, resilient, joyful, finding ways to play amid the strange new normal of post-war Japan. But 10 years later, tragedy circled back. At just 12 years old, Sadako was diagnosed with leukemia, a disease doctors then called the atomic bomb disease. With her future narrowing to the hospital ward and time measured in treatments, Sadako turned to a piece of Japanese folklore, the legend that anyone who folds 1,000 origami cranes will be granted a single heartfelt wish. In her little bed near the window, Sadako began to fold. Each crane was fashioned from a scrap. Medicine wrappers, old labels, the pieces of colorful paper her family and nurses could find. Some days she could manage only one or two. On others, she pushed herself, folding dozens and dozens on the go. Each one a whisper of hope for recovery, for childhood, for a world where such destruction would never visit another city again. Sadako died in October 1955. Her wish unfulfilled, her tally of cranes standing at 644. But the story did not end there. Her classmates, heartbroken but determined, took up her cause. They folded the remaining cranes, and together they launched a campaign that would forever change the memory of Hiroshima and the world's vision of peace. They raised funds to build the Children's Peace Monument in Hiroshima's Peace Park, where Sadako's statue stands, a crane stretched skywards in her hand. Each year on the anniversary of the Hiroshima bombing, people from around the world, many of them children, send thousands upon thousands of paper cranes to Hiroshima. They string them in long, colorful garlands, laying them at the memorial's base. To some, they are simple paper tokens. To others, each crane is a prayer, a vow, a protest against the brutality of war, and a stubborn refusal to let despair have the final word. Why has this story reasoned so loudly, nearly 8 decades on? Perhaps it's because Sadako's cranes have come to symbolize more than just Japan's tragedy. They are a reflection on the cost of war, the innocents lost, and the global stakes that come with humanity's technological prowess. In a world where weapons of mass destruction remain, where new crises continually threaten civilian lives across the globe, Sadako's story is both an indictment and a plea. Her cranes fly quietly across borders, asking us, what have we actually learned from Hiroshima? The context could not be more urgent. At last accounting, nearly 13,000 nuclear warheads are still maintained by 9 nations. With renewed tensions in Asia, Europe, and the Middle East, experts warn that the risk of a future nuclear detonation, whether by intent or accident, is not zero. Modernizing arsenal, expanding military doctrines, and debates about new tactical weapons push the world closer to the brink. Even as peace movements struggle to be heard above the din, Analysts point out that the story of Hiroshima, redrawn through Sadako's paper cranes, confronts us with uncomfortable truths. Yes, the bombing hastened the end of World War II, but at what irredeemable cost? Survivors, many now in their 90s, testify not only to the physical suffering but the lifelong shadow of loss and displacement, the humanitarian impact on health or environment, on the very possibility of trust between peoples and governments reverberates in every nuclear arms negotiation, every debate about the legitimacy of deterrence. For a younger generation, the annual ritual of folding and sending paper cranes is sometimes their first introduction to the idea that individuals, even children, can resist despair and put hope into action. Sadako's story is cited all over the world, pairing it with lessons not only about history but about citizenship, about the power of symbols, and the responsibilities we all carry to align our policies with our most basic shared values. As we mark another anniversary of Hiroshima, it is vital to ask hard questions. Are we honoring the memory of Hibakusha in the name only? Or are we taking concrete steps to reduce humanity's reliance on indiscriminate weapons? Have we learned to center the voices of survivors when governments debate war and peace? And what will it take for the paper cranes, those icons of hope and protest, to finally outnumber the bombs? Tonight, as Sadako's cranes flutter in the breeze over Hiroshima Peace Park, their colors slowly fading with time, their message remains crisp. No more Hiroshimas, no more Nagasakis, a future shaped by memory, vigilance, and a tireless commitment to peace. As current events remind us that shadow of human-made catastrophe is never far, Sadako Sasaki's legacy stands as a gentle but urgent call. In life, she folded cranes to wish for healing. In death, her story compels us all. Fold our hopes into action. Stitch together compassion from tragedy and never turn away from the hard but necessary work for building a more humane world. The real question is not just whether we remember, but whether we are willing to change. We will continue to bring you stories that matter. For now, I'm Gunjan Handa for the Asian Chronicle.